Brace yourself for a touch of romance. In February's YouTube workshop, we'll be painting this lovely red rose on a pile of books with a candle. But that's not all. Not only will we be doing the start to finish underpainting in this tutorial, I'll be painting the colour layers live here on YouTube later on in February. Hi friends, I'm Marion Dutton. I'm really delighted to bring you this lovely romantic painting tutorial for our February workshop here on YouTube. Now if you do want to paint along with me, don't forget you can grab the full tracing, the reference photos and the PDF material list all completely for free over on the MazArt Academy, and I will leave a link to that in the description box below. And of course on Sunday the 11th of February we'll be adding the colour layers to this underpainting. So I'm giving you this underpainting in plenty of time so you can prepare ahead and paint along with me. Now before we start this lovely underpainting journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Okay, so for our lovely February project, we're doing this really nice Valentine painting, the Valentine rose and candle, nice and romantic. And I've called this, because we've got some books here, I've actually called this one Valentine Verses. So I've printed this onto an A3. I'm lucky enough that I have an A3 printer, but I've used rapid resizer to make sure this is perfectly scaled to the canvas that I want to use. In this particular case, I'm using an 8 by 10 inch canvas board, and I've covered this with 2 coats of gesso, and I will leave a link to how I cover the gesso in one of my other tutorials here on YouTube. But again, this is an 8 by 10, it's perfectly to size using rapid resizer. I will leave a link, I have a full tutorial on how to use rapid resizer, and don't worry if you don't have an A3 printer, because rapid resizer scales and tiles your print using standard printer paper, so it's perfect for getting your paintings and your images perfectly to scale. So I'm going to now cut this to size. What I'm going to do now is cover the back using these Gioconda Artist leads, and I'm using the brown sepia colour. Once I've got the lead on the back, I take a paper towel and I'll distribute that evenly across the back. Line up your tracing with the bottom, and I've taken just a little off the top so I can actually tape that down. I like to tape all the way across and tuck underneath. And now I'm going to go over the lines using a red pen. The alternative to doing that is you could also use trace down paper, tape your tracing down and slide the trace down paper, and that will work just the same way. I'm going to speed the footage up for you now as I do this outline. The nice thing about doing it this way is you can keep lifting up and checking that your image is coming through okay. Once you're happy, you can remove your tracing. Now I'm going to be working in oil paints to do the underpainting, so it is very important that you seal your drawing lines at this point. As soon as you put the oil wash over, you're going to remove those lines if you don't use a fixative. So you can use a fixative like this one, which is archival. If you're going to use this one, please make sure you do it outside. It's really strong with the smells. The alternative is you can go over your lines using an acrylic paint marker, or alternatively also you can use burnt umber acrylic thinned down with water and use a liner brush to go over your lines. I'm going to use the fixative. I'm going to spray this outside with a very light coating of that fixative, so I'll be ready then to do the underpainting. So I'll see you in the next part. This is our preparation. If you want to paint along with me, this tracing is available completely for free, and I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Let's jump onto that underpainting. Okay, so if you've done any underpaintings with me before, you'll be familiar. I'm using a Zest-It Lean Painting Medium here. However, if you don't have this one, you could make your own lean medium by using a 50-50 mix of linseed oil and odorless mineral spirits. I'm using raw umber for the paint today, but you could also use burnt umber if you preferred. Next, I'm taking some of that medium and I'm putting a little puddle to one side, and then into that I'm going to take about half of that raw umber and mix it into that puddle for a really nice creamy texture. Then I'm going to take a sponge and I'm going to dip that sponge into that lovely creamy mixture, and we're going to use this as a wash over the whole of the canvas. I like to dispense in a corner of the canvas and get rid of some of that excess before going over my tracing. I'll remind you at this point, don't forget to fix your image, either with a fixative or using an acrylic marker to go over your lines, because at this point your oil paint would actually erase your drawing if you didn't fix it. Next, I turn the sponge over to the dry side and I use that dry side to remove some of that excess medium and paint. So now I've got a nice even surface, around about a value 2. I'm looking to try and create 4 values with this underpainting. Now at this point I'm going to speed the footage up because it is very repetitive, but of course I'll keep jumping on and letting you know exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Okay, at this point I've switched to a typist eraser and I'm beginning to erase back to my lightest value. And this is the wonderful thing about doing your underpaintings with oil paint rather than with acrylic, is you have the opportunity to be able to erase back. Now here you'll see I'm dipping into a little bit of medium using a Q-tip, and that's just so I can erase right back to that original tone of the canvas. So we have our value 2 on there and I'm erasing back. In the description box below, but these brushes are absolutely wonderful. It's almost like sketching with the oil paint. Now I'm trying to put another tone on now to try and get that value 3, the next darkest value, and again I'm using that tonal reference that's included in this tutorial as my guide for applying my tones. Now, having said that, please don't be a slave to the tonal reference. I certainly won't be going as dark as the tonal reference is showing in this particular painting, so it is there just as a guide only. I'm switching now to a small filbert, or you could use a small flat brush, and I'm starting to get some of that tone within the rose, just adding a slightly darker value, again just looking at that reference as a guide. is sculpting that darker tone around that rose. And again, this is all about the rest of this underpainting. And of course, I've given you plenty of time to get ahead for those live workshops where we'll begin adding the colour layers. Really do hope you've enjoyed this underpainting tutorial and you won't want to miss our romantic rendezvous on February the 11th. That's 1 p.m. UK time. And once again, if you are enjoying the lessons on this channel, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and add a comment below. Let me know what kind of subjects you'd like me to bring to this YouTube channel. Once again, guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.